if you're just trying to think of yourself or what will happen to you, I think you're being selfish in a way.
Yep.
Because you're thinking of yourself more. You just have to think of what value you can offer to the people, to the students that will attend your workshop.
Hey everyone, it's me again, Jay Christ, and welcome to another episode of the Design Live Show. In this episode, I'm chatting with Regie from the sunny Philippines. He is a lettering artist and designer. He is really passionate about letter forms and he loved the process of creating a purposeful look that's visually appealing and easy to remember. In this episode, we talk about his design life stories from ground up, how he was able to pursue his passion while having a day job, the importance of surrounding yourself with like-minded people, actionable steps on how to have the right clients for your side hustle, the right mindset when putting your works out there, and practical insights on building your personal brand, and much more. So Reggie and I met in a freelancing event last month, I think 3 months ago, I think. So I invited him into the show because we have a very similar stories, I think so, and I think a lot of creatives right now are really struggling to find that balance on crafting their own passion project while having a 9 to 5 job. So Reggie is one of those that I think can give a lot of value on the podcast. So I decided to invite him, and I really love this episode, and I hopefully you've loved this episode too. And if you find this valuable, don't hesitate to share it with your colleagues, family, or friends, and even strangers. Why not, right? So for those who are asking how to support the show, you can go to thedesignliveshow.com and you can subscribe to any of your favorite podcast app. TDLS is available on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts. In any of your favorite podcast app, actually, it's really available. And if you love to support the show, you can go to thedesignliveshow.com. You can check all the information about this crazy mission on helping everyone grow to live a meaningful and creative life. Okay, so let's go jump into this week's episode. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy this episode. You're listening to The Design Life Show, a podcast that's helping everyone grow to live a meaningful and creative life. It's me, Jay Christ, a designer from the Philippines, best known for being an advocate of essentialism and optimism. I'm sitting down with awesome people to talk about their journey, their process, and the lessons they've learned along the way. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of TDLS. It's me again, Jay Christ, and I'm super pumped today. Actually, tonight, right? So I'm here with Reggie, our friend from Bacoor, Cavite. So he's also from the south like me. So welcome to the show, Reggie. How are you, man?
Good, I'm doing good.
Yeah, thank you so much for accepting my invitation. So actually, this is the take 2. Nagkamali nung first time. So, bro, so thank you so much for accepting my invitation, right? So, just to give context in this episode, can you share a little bit about your background and what are you doing right now?
Okay. First of all, thank you for inviting me, Jake, for an episode of your podcast. So right now, I'm actually working at a 9 to 5 or rather 8 to 5. I have a day job right now. I'm an electronics engineer graduate. Mm-hmm. So I'm currently working at a semiconductor company. But I have a creative side hustle. I'm doing lettering and calligraphy on the side. So for this year, I started teaching brush pen calligraphy workshops. Then I also started a clothing line with my fiancé. So we started attending events, and that's where we meet. That's where we met the freelancer fair.
Yeah. Yes.
And then I'm trying to also taking some client work on the side. So I'm trying to juggle all of that while having a day job. and while preparing for my
Ah.
wedding, which is happening in 3 months' time
Wow, congrats.
as
Congrats,
we
bro.
are
Yeah,
recording this.
congrats in advance.
Thanks.
Yeah. So just I think you I have a lot of I have a lot of questions for that because you're doing a lot of things right now, right? So can you just give a little bit about how you started before you decided to build or create your side hustle as a lettering artist and a designer?
Okay. It all started when um I, I was really trying to look for my passion. So
Mhm.
when I started working, I know that I need to find something that will really you know the saying that find something you love to do and you will never work a day in your life. So I that really
Mhm.
stuck with me. So it all started with when I read about the speech of Steve Jobs.
Mhm.
Are you
Yeah.
familiar with the Stanford speech where he said that you have to really find the the thing that you love, and that's when it started. So I was really trying to know myself more and trying
Mhm.
to explore other opportunities on how to earn money
Yeah. Mhm.
while doing something. Then
Mhm.
along the way, I realized that I was really passionate with design.
Mhm.
So I always admire the posters, the album covers, even the sports logos. So I was always drawn to that. So I realized that when I was a kid, when I was still in elementary, during the break, during the school time,
Yep. Mhm.
I'm always trying to doodle at the back of my notebook.
Wow.
Uh, uh, it's common with a lot of artists, right? So
Yeah.
at the back of my notebook, you will always see the
Ah.
different types of letterings. I would always try to do a. Uh, I realized that that's something that I was doing way back,
Mhm.
and during my exploration phase, I stumbled upon Graphika Manila.
Yep. Mhm.
So I know you're attending Graphika, right?
Yeah. I'm a fan of Graphika Manila. Actually,
Yeah,
it's my second time to attend last Quiz Do
last
event.
year.
Yeah, Quiz Do
First
is
time-
the main event, right?
My first time was back in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember that I was just trying to search online for some. I want to learn more about graphic design.
Yep.
So I was searching online. Then I found about this conference, about a design conference that is happening in Manila.
Mm-hmm.
So I stumbled upon Manila, and it is happening way. So I'll just buy a ticket and just see what's in it. So I'm not a design person back then. I'm still working as an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not really aware of what it is or how
Mm-hmm.
the design community works. So
Yep.
uh, one of the speakers back then was Jessica Hish. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
when I heard her speak, I realized that, oh, can I curse?
Yeah, sure. You can
Oh
curse.
shit! That's that's
Ah,
that's the, that's the
that's the
thing that I was
yeah,
doing when I was a kid, but
that's the aha
I
moment.
never realized that. Yeah, I never realized that there was a career
Mm.
doing lettering.
Yeah.
That's when a whole new world opened. So that's when it started. Then after
Mm-hmm.
that, I was trying to explore a lot of things, trying to attend different events,
Yep.
and
Mhm.
then around 2015, that's when I started uploading my lettering work and just really started teaching myself how to do hand lettering.
Mhm.
So enrolled in courses online, and then I started also learning calligraphy, and then I think the rest is history. So
Yes.
I just started building uh, my brand one step at a time.
Yeah, that's really
So here
cool.
I am.
Yeah, I think it's really awesome to look back. What's your look back on your journey? Because a lot of creatives right now are really struggling to really start their own creative path or their own creative journey. I think it's really valuable to share that as well. And thanks for sharing that. I'm just curious, Reggie. You've been into engineering, and then it's a little bit too far in design, right? How do you how do you you know how do you find those two things in one place? Can you explain how do you manage that, as well as having a 9 to actually 8 to 10 or 8 to 10 job
8 to 5.
8 to 5 job here in
That's
the
it.
Philippines, right? So how do you handle as well that on the other hand, as a letterer and a designer?
Yeah. I think there's nothing in common with what I do. But I think that the most common thing that I can think of was way back in college, we are writing reports. We
Yeah.
are submitting lab reports for our subjects. I'm an ECE, electronics engineer.
Yes.
So we have these lab reports. We have to it should be handwritten using engineering lettering. So that's the closest
Wow.
thing that engineering is related to lettering.
Yeah.
So
It's too
right
interesting.
now,
Yep.
yeah, right now I'm just trying to balance things, and it's really difficult to to balance your time, especially for example after work you're really tired, and for us the nature of our work, it's there are times that it would be really we really have to render some overtime, and you said 8 to 10. That also happens. That also
Yeah.
happens from time to time with our job.
Actually, it happens to me. I think 8 to 12 sometimes. That's when you're in a pioneering team, right? So it's really difficult to handle schedules. When I was full time or in-house designer back then. Yeah.
In-house is there.
Yeah.
So at least you're a designer.
Yeah.
So me,
Mhm.
I don't really practice design at work,
Yep.
but
Mhm.
I just took it as a
Mhm.
challenge
Yep.
because,
Mhm.
and I know that having a day job, it is not a hindrance for me. So the way I think of it is, my day job helps me do my passion or build my side hustle,
Yep.
because I'm a
Mhm.
fan of, if you're familiar with Sean McCabe of SeanWest.com. So when I was
Yep.
starting to learn lettering, I bought one of his courses. So
Mhm.
I'm not sure if it's available right now, but I bought one of his courses. He was really famous for doing hand lettering back then.
Yep.
And he also has this book called the overlap technique.
Yep. Overlap. Mhm.
That overlap book. So that's where I'm trying. That's how I look at my day job right now. Is I need my
Yeah.
day job to handle my finances.
Yep.
So I won't really force myself to earn from my passion, because if I do that, I might eventually get burned out and get frustrated, and I might
Mhm.
start hating doing design.
Yeah.
So right now I have the
Mhm.
luxury of trying to, when I get a lot of client inquiries. So
Mhm.
I have the luxury of picking which one I could work for. Instead of, if you're not really earning, if you're not financially stable right now, you'll just
Yes.
try to compromise every project that comes along the way.
Yep.
So
That's great. Actually, I connect thing with your story, because back then when I have a 9 to 5 job, because I think it's really hard to balance it out. It's really hard. That's the
yeah.
truth, and that's the reality. Especially here in the PH, it's the work condition and the shifting schedule is really uh, 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 it will really hurt your butt, or it will really hurt your health as well. And then at the time I
Mm-hmm.
actually also building my portfolio, building my brand, and then and the good thing about it is you're like what Reggie said, you have the luxury to choose the projects that you want to do or to work on, right? It's really great because you have your safe place at the same time, and you have your exploration or playground. For me, that's why that's how I describe it back then. It's really fascinating also as well that uh, for me, lettering or design is really uh, uh, a true job now, right? So back then it's kind of tricky to is it really do can I earn from that, right? So that's the big questions back then, right? So speaking of earning, Reggie, can you share your first how do you find your client while having a full-time job? Can you share a little bit about that?
The process usually
Yep, your
for
process, how
for
from
finding
building it. Yep, from building your brand.
yeah for finding clients. Usually right now, I think I don't. It's more of the network that I have right
Mhm.
now.
Yes.
So most of the inquiries that I am getting are within uh, the the freelance network that I
Mm-hmm.
built
Yep.
started last year. So last year I started. Last year I was really struggling with finding with doing freelancing alone.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured that if I want to do freelancing, I really need to find a community or find other freelancers that I could really relate to, or I have to find that like-minded people that are already related, because most of my friends I can't relate to what I was trying to do. So they are just telling me that yeah, just stick with your job. You have a great job. So
Yeah.
but I know that it
Mhm.
is something that there's something else that I really want to do, and that's to be a freelance lettering artist and
Yeah.
designer.
Got it.
For
Mm-hmm.
me,
Yep.
I started networking with other freelancers, and once I built my network, everyone already know that I'm the one who's doing lettering. I'm the one who's designing logos. So most of the
Yeah.
inquiries that I get are from that same network.
Got it. So I think Reggie has a great insight on this topic because a lot of creatives are really introverted and don't know how to network, right? So actually, I've been there before because I don't know how to talk or to start a conversation in a networking event. So literally, like what Reggie said, you just need to push yourself further and then literally just throw yourself out there. Right? No, just don't hurt yourself.
Yeah,
Because because I think community is really a great way to find clients and actually on there's a lot of community online and creative community online, and that's really amazing to see the how it grown so fast within
mm-hmm.
a few years because I see a lot of progress and I see a lot of creatives that are really doing their good their job or their works. That's really amazing, right?
Yeah,
hmm
it's
So,
really
actually, for those who are listening, we've met. Reggie and I first met at Freelancer Fair. So that's an event for
in August.
yes for every freelancer. So but we've been friends online. So we've been into I think we've also met on Dribble community, and it's really and I find your design really interesting because I also want to draw or uh, to to create letterings back then, but um lettering don't like me anymore. So so that's it. I think Reggie has a great design because I also bought a T-shirt and I have it here on my
Yeah.
home
Oh,
office. It's really
thanks.
great. So, Net, for those who are listening, if you're really introverted or you're really struggling to find clients, I think networking, like what Reggie said, is really one way that you can do right now, as in right now, if you're listening. So, if you just have to find like-minded people, and you will find your best clients or best team for your business or for your side hustle, right? uh just to go back, bro, for with your journey. So you've been into engineering, and right now you're into uh to lettering and design. So how do you came up with uh you know with ideas on creating designs? Because I think engineering is more technical, design is more aesthetics and
Yeah.
something like that, right? So can you share your process and story for that topic?
Yeah, for my process, usually it really depends on the client. On I just have to really dive deep on what the client needs or wants,
Mhm.
and then I base my design decisions on what we talk about. For example, I did this logo for the the freelance blenders group, or
Yep. Mhm.
this is part of the freelancer pair. So uh, so it is. I think for me, I want it to be a more collaborative effort with the client.
Mhm.
So at first, before the project starts, I try to ask a lot of questions, um, the pegs or the sample, the feel of the design that they want to achieve or that they like.
Mhm.
So I try to base it on that. So for me, when I also do lettering, it's more of an uh,
Mhm.
expressive way that I base the style on how the words made me feel. So
Wow. Yeah.
that's usually my process, and then it's more of a uh, communication with the constant communication with the client. So
Yep.
you really have to be clear on the goals and the expectations that you have with the client. So this
Mhm.
is the one. This is also one way to avoid having bad clients,
Mhm.
because as I've learned, or I think I've heard this from Sean McCabe, that there are really no bad clients, only bad designers, because we didn't really communicate what we want to do with the client.
Mhm.
So if there are a lot of provisions that you are getting with the client, maybe
Yeah.
it's maybe you didn't communicate that there's only limited revisions for
Yes.
that project. So I try to include that as much as possible
Mm.
before the project starts. And when the client is willing to work with my own process or my own terms, and that's when we start the project. So it's really you have to really
Mhm.
uh, learn how to communicate well.
Got it. So I think there's a lot of creatives really don't understand this well, right? So I think you need to dig dive
Yeah.
on the things that you needed to do first before you kickstart project or those works, right? So do you also have a little contract first or 50% down payment? Because I think I don't know. There's a lot of it's still until now. There's a lot of designers that are actually not into this type of onto this type of uh, thing, because they just tend to work
Yeah.
on that project, and then
Work,
suddenly the client will run and then you don't have
really.
any without any payment, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I also have that because we learned that from Chris Do, right? So
Yeah.
that's one of the
Mm-hmm.
he's teaching that you have you have to get paid first before doing any type of work. So we also have to learn how to filter our clients.
Yes.
Because most of the designers, I think what I noticed is that most of the designers that are here are once they get an inquiry, can you do me a logo? Then they will already do create without really knowing what's the budget, how long does it take. So for me, that's what I try to know first. First of all, when do they need the project? Because for me, process, I don't really, at least I need the fastest that I want to create. For example, a logo, I want to create it in around 2 weeks time. So I want to spend much time for the exploration phase. So because at first, I know that there would be a lot of iterations in your first versions. I really want to create a solution that would fit the client's business. So if I accept something like I need a logo in 2 days, if a client tells me that they need a logo in 2 days, I don't accept that types of project.
Yeah, that's really great. So I think it's really great to know that, because I think a lot of designers still don't recognize the value of asking right question or asking great questions before doing anything else with your work or with a client, right? So it's interesting also to know more about your process and how do you handle those things, because I think it's really valuable for every creative, especially for those who are really getting started on their creative path. So, bro, how do you I think you've mentioned that you have 8 to 10 job, right? So how do you handle or balance it out with your personal work or personal designs? And I think you've grown tremendously throughout the years, because you're also now doing some workshop. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think the workshop started around May this year. So as I mentioned earlier, I was really trying to network with other freelancers. And actually the workshop started when someone really pushed me to start doing workshops. At first, earlier this year, I never really planned to do. I never imagined that I would already do workshops as I am doing it right now, because I'm not that confident. The common problem is I'm not that confident with my skills yet.
So how do you overcome those self-doubt?
Yeah, I think one thing that I realized is the way you overcome self-doubt is you just have to actually do it. Because once you do it,
100%,
then there's no more excuse for you that you can't. Because you already tried. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. You already know that you can't do it, but some of us, we just think that we just overthink that they should be perfect. We also try to wait for the right timing or the right circumstances or the stars to align before doing something. But for me, for the workshop, the way it happened was someone really helped me or pushed me to start. So he just introduced me to some person and referred me. Oh, he can do a workshop. Off we go.
That's it.
And the first workshop that I did didn't really push through because I got few attendees. I think around just 2 signed up. So I was really thinking, but that okay, do I continue this or not? So I decided to continue, and then my second try, that's where I already got some attendees, and some of my friends helped me promote the workshop, and all my siblings also attended to support me, and some of my other friends. So I filled up it with around 8 students, and then that's it. It was really a great feeling. Just having done my first workshop, and
Wow. Mm-hmm.
it was something that's really
Mm-hmm.
it's one of my goals that I didn't really
Yeah.
expect to happen right away. And that's
Wow.
really the importance of connecting with other people, because you never know that you'll meet someone that will help push you towards your dreams. So I think that's the value of um, hanging out with like-minded people, because you'll find some pushers. These are legal pushers that
Not
will
the drug
push
pushers.
you. Not the illegal pushers.
Yeah.
Baka matokhang dito. These are the
Yes.
legal pushers that
So
will
they,
help
yeah,
push you towards
100%.
your goal.
Yeah, I really
And
agree.
then
Mhm. Yeah.
doing the next workshop, second workshop,
Mhm.
it was really still difficult to gain students, but I managed to pull it through. Then when the third workshop happened, I already got a lot of inquiries, and
Mhm.
it, it 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 came to a point that I have to reject some students because the workshop
Wow.
was already
Mhm.
full.
Wow,
So
that's really
I
great.
hope that I
Mhm.
can feel better next year after the
Yeah.
wedding.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to that. I'm just wondering, how do you manage on your first workshop, because I think a lot of creatives uh really shy, like you, like what you said, your confidence is really not that high, or not that
Yeah.
you're really a low key person as well, I think. I feel that you're a low key person as well, right? So how do you handle your first workshop? How do you stand on front in front of your attendees? Can you share your experience with that?
But I think what I realized when I was doing before, I'm already thinking that I'm not really that my mindset was,
Mhm.
my self talk was that I'm not really that great. There are a lot of other lettering
Yeah.
artists. There are a lot of calligraphers that are better than me. Why me?
Mm-hmm.
So uh, what, uh, what do I
Sponsor
know that I
syndrome.
can be? uh, Imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
So, but I realized that uh, if you know something more than
Mm-hmm.
the other person, then you also have
Yep.
uh, a right to teach.
Mm-hmm.
So if I, for, for example, the example that I always hear is, if you're reading a book and I'm already at page 100, you're still at page 1, I already know
Yep.
more
Mm-hmm.
about you. So I can already share a lot of things to you
Mm-hmm.
that that could for example, for calligraphy, for
Yep.
brush pen calligraphy,
Mm-hmm.
the workshop that I'm doing, I already know more than a beginner, so that already qualifies me to teach.
Mm-hmm.
So for the confidence part, that's really something that you have you'll gain once you put yourself out there.
Yep.
Uh, if
Mm-hmm.
you're not, if you're just on your room, or if you're not posting any work online, it would be really difficult for you to gain some confidence. I
Yep.
think that it would start with just putting yourself out there. So, and not minding what other people would say,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and
Be prone
yeah,
about it.
just
Yeah.
trying to
Just.
think that
Mm-hmm.
you're doing this because you love. We
Yes.
just love to do this. You're doing
Mm-hmm.
this for yourself. I'm
Got it.
posting my work,
Mm-hmm.
and if it sucks, I know it
Yeah.
sucks.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Posting my work because I want to. My mindset is, I'm posting this right now because I want to look back at it
Mm-hmm.
2 to 3 years later, how much I improved. So that's just my mindset when putting work out there. So, and now when I'm putting myself in front of people, that's also my uh you don't if you're just trying to think of yourself or what will happen to you, I think
Mm-hmm.
you're being selfish in a way,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
because you don't you're you're thinking of yourself more. You just have to think of what value you can offer to the people, to the students that will attend your workshop. So I think that's how you should. I think that's the mindset that you should take when doing this kind of events.
Wow, that's really cool. I think that's all the insights you've searched is really, I think, right on point, because a lot of creatives really tend to overthink, like what you said, right? So I've been there also overthinking, and then I realize I just need to get these shits done, right? So just get things done, and then I also always try to emphasize when I'm doing a workshop as well with a lot of aspiring creatives
Yeah,
is to thinking by doing. I think a lot of creatives really tend to overthink, and they want to be on the bench rather to be on the court, uh, something like that, right? So you have to be that worker. You need to work harder and push yourself further. I think, and it's really, uh, and I realize as well that nobody cares what are sometimes, right? No, there's a lot of people are really looking at you, but there's a few ones that really care about what you are sharing, what are you are telling. There's a few people that really care about your progress and about your journey, and that's the most important thing for me.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really great, man. So for those who for those who would like to create or get started in design and lettering, can you share your best practical advice for them?
This practical advice.
Yep.
Get started right now.
Just get things done.
Yeah, I think
Mhm.
that's the one mistake that I
Yeah.
did back then. Yeah, I think I when I heard of Jessica Hish back in 2014, it took me around a year before really getting something
Yeah.
right. So I started in 2015. So
Mhm.
I'm looking back. I wish I could have started earlier.
Mhm.
Uh, you just sometimes the only thing that's stopping you is yourself. So I think not sometimes. Most of the time, the only thing that's stopping you is yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
So have to.
Yeah.
So you just have to get over it, and you'll never know unless you try. So that's really
Mhm.
if you have, for example, even if it's not something related to
Mhm.
design or something creative, if you're
Yeah.
of something that you really want to do, for example, you want to learn something or you think you're passionate with this, then just take some time and do it,
Mhm.
because for all you know, you're not really passionate with that. It's just the idea of doing that is
Um,
what you're in love with. So
yeah.
once you get, for example, you get lettering, you do lettering, but you're not really fond of talking to clients, or you don't really want to market yourself. So maybe lettering is just a hobby for you.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
you try something else that you could make it as a career. Maybe
Yeah.
you're really a dancer. So
Mhm.
just try to
You never know,
explore more.
right? Mhm.
Yeah.
100%. That's really cool, and I think a lot of people really tend to. The word is always overthinking, right? So that's really
Yeah.
a great idea to just get started and get things done. If you find it very interesting, then go for it. Push it, and that's really a really one way. I think. Do you think that's the only way to?
For the creatives,
Yep.
there are a lot of ways. The one thing that I noticed with, for example, in Graphika Manila, if you notice the speakers there, the
Yep.
common pattern for the successful designers and
Mhm.
artists that speaking in Graphika is they really value the time that they spent for personal projects.
Mhm.
So they, of course, if they're doing some client work, it's something that they just have to do because of work. But one thing that I noticed, if once they do those passion projects, those the projects that they really want to do, so that's when they find their own style, and they get hired more of doing the things that they already love to do, and that's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
And I think it just have to start by putting out your projects, putting more of the things that you like to do out into the world. And I think for a I think I heard this from another podcast that every project that you put out there uh, serves as a ticket that could eventually win for you. So just have to do more. Just have to do more.
That's really amazing for you to share all your experience and your story. And I think I just want to add on that because I think I also realized that your own or crafting your own story is really valuable when it comes to personal branding as well. If you like to market
Yeah,
your
agree.
personal brand, I think crafting your own stories or building your personal brand is one of the best way to climb that ladder. Personal brand is the I think the next big thing for every creatives if you want to be more successful or positions yourself as an expert or as one of the in-demand creatives in the industry. I think building your personal brand and crafting your stories is really one of the keys as well. Like what Reggie said, there's a lot of ways uh, to be more successful. Just be creative, right? So it's really great to think more ways to overcome those challenges as a creative. So man,
Agree.
so that's really great. Just to before we wrap up the show, so can you share your best app? Do you have any recommendation app that you are using personally? So I think you're more on traditional art, right? So do you also use Adobe Creative Suite or something like that? Can you share your
Yeah.
recommendations? Yeah.
So for me, I'm doing lettering more on the paper, pen and paper. So I start with that. Then I also digitize it for a logo design or even T-shirt designs. So I use mostly for T-shirt for for designs that I don't need to be scalable. I just use Photoshop. So, but if it's something for a logo or a branding, I then use Illustrator for that. So, I think that's my main softwares that I use, Photoshop and Illustrator. Then I think in my workshops, uh, I also because my workshop is from pen to pixels, the title. So I teach brush pen calligraphy, and then I also teach them how to digitize it using their phone. So I'm also using the mobile Adobe apps. So mainly it's the uh, Photoshop Express and Photoshop Fix. You have to explore
Mm,
those mobile apps because it's really powerful. Especially if you need just some quick edits, you can do a lot
yeah.
more with just using your phone.
Wow. Hmm.
So it still amazes me how much I can already do with my phone. And also one more app that I can share is Videoshop app.
Video shop.
So
Got it. Hmm.
Videoshop is this is the one that I'm using to shoot calligraphy videos. So if you look at my Instagram, uh, this is the one that I'm used to edit. So I because you have to edit it and under a minute, and you also have if you want to shoot videos for IGTV
Hmm.
vertical videos, you can do that with Videoshop. So
Got it.
most of my video editing done on the phone.
Yeah, got it. So, for those who are listening and for those who are really interested on lettering design, I think I will put all the links or recommendation that Reggie said on that particular topic, and I think it's really valuable for those who are really passionate about lettering. So, before we wrap up the show and send them to your links or to your website, can you share your vision or mission after a year? Where do you find your personal brand a year after from now?
From now. Yeah. My main goal really is to try to draw and write letters for a living. So I want to make this my full time career. So I'm building myself towards that. Then I think for a year, I'm looking at doing more workshops and teaching a lot of frustrated. I think there are a lot of frustrated creatives that really
Yeah.
needs that push to start something or just start
Yes.
doing, even if it's not calligraphy, just start
Mhm.
drawing. So I want to help those frustrated creatives uh,
Mhm.
uh, rekindle their artistic sides.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
that's one of my goal, and I think one of my mission eventually would be also to help others start their own creative side hustle.
Got it.
So I know that there are a lot of uh, or engineers or nurses or accountants out there that really wants to pursue something creative
Mhm.
on the side. So
Yep.
want to help them realize that if they really want to do something like that, that it is already possible right now to make it their full-time career. So with
Yeah.
the help of the internet, right? So
Yes.
anything is possible right now.
And
I
with the
want
help
to
of the community as well.
them realize it's possible.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
what we're doing now. We've been there, and
Yep.
I hope that I can also share more of my knowledge and my journey, and hope that
Mhm.
it will also inspire others to do the same.
Yeah, there you go. That's really great, and I'm looking forward to that, bro. So, I'm looking forward also to join your workshop. I will surely sign up if I have the chance and
Yeah.
if my schedules permit. So, for those who would like to know more about you, about your personal brand, what's your best link and where they can find you on the internet, right?
And uh, they can find me at mainly on instagram.com/regie.ph. I also have a Facebook page, regie.ph, and also my main website is regie.ph, www.regie.ph. Then if
Yeah.
they have questions or something else, if they need to talk to me, they could reach me at my email, regie@regie.ph. That's Regie, single G, regie.ph.
So that's it. So for those who are listening, and if you love to learn more about Reggie, you can check all the links on our show notes below. If you're using Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts, just scroll down and you will find all the links and recommendations that I think really valuable for those who are getting started or for those who are struggling at this moment right now. So I think Reggie is one of the best lettering artists that I know. So I really, really highly recommend him. So for those also who would like to check all the information or check to learn more about this podcast, you can go to thedesignlifeshow.com. That's thedesignlifeshow.com. So that's it. And thank you so much, bro. Man, I really appreciate
Thank
you
you.
for carving
Yeah.
some time. So I know you're really busy, and I'm really appreciate. I'm really honored to have you on the show.
Thank you. Same here. I'm really glad to be here.
Talk soon, bro. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thanks.
And that's it. Thank you so much for listening to the Design Live Show. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. If you want to support the show, you can do so on Patreon. Head over to patreon.com/TDLS or go to thedesignliveshow.com. And you can find the donate button on the top to learn more on how you can support the show. And for some cool extra stuff, you can get an access to my private contents like AMAs, where I take questions exclusively from Patreon subscribers, or check out other stuff I made where I talk about essentialism, design, creativity, and business. I give a lot of value into this podcast that can't be seen anywhere else online. Again, that's patreon.com/TDLS. Thanks for listening to the show, and talk to you guys again next week.